The wedding hall fell silent as the stranger's voice cut through the celebration like a knife. "This marriage should not happen," the man shouted, pointing directly at Michael, the groom. "That mechanic is hiding something." Michael felt his heart drop. Beside him, Blessing turned slowly, her white gown swishing. Her eyes, filled with joy seconds ago, now showed confusion and fear. The first sound Michael noticed that day months ago was different. Not the usual noisy Acacia sound of bus horns and generators coughing smoke. The sound was smooth, heavy, powerful. Like a storm made of engines. Michael froze with a spoon halfway to Blessing's mouth. Blessing sat weakly on the old wooden bench inside his roadside mechanic workshop. Her back rested against a wooden pillar. Her eyes were barely open. Her lips were slightly apart, waiting for the next bite of jollof rice. Michael's hands shook as he fed her. Not because he was scared of work. Michael had fixed cars under rain, sun, and even during police raids. He was shaking because Blessing looked like she could disappear at any time. Like life was leaving her slowly and he was fighting to hold her here. Small, Michael whispered, his voice soft like a brother's. "Just take this one for strength." Blessing swallowed with difficulty. Her throat moved slowly. Her eyes fluttered, tired and dull, but still alive. Michael forced a small smile even though his heart was heavy. That was when the convoy arrived. Black Bentleys. Not one, not two. Many. They rolled in from the road like a royal parade. Their windows were tinted dark. Their bodies shone like new phones. The workshop suddenly felt smaller, poorer, more exposed. Like a secret place that had been discovered. The cars parked close, forming a wall of expensive metal. Men stepped out first. Big men. Security. Dark suits, earpieces, hard faces. They looked like people who didn't ask questions. They gave orders. They spread out fast, scanning the area. Watching the rooftops. Checking corners like they expected danger to jump out of Michael's pile of used tires. Michael's spoon stopped in the air again. His mouth opened but no sound came out. His brain searched for one reason why people like this would come to a poor roadside workshop in Surulere. He had never seen anything like it in his life. The nearest guard looked at him like Michael was a problem that needed to be removed. Michael's stomach tightened. Then the door of the front Bentley opened slowly. Like the moment before thunder. A polished black shoe touched the dusty ground. Then another. And a man stepped out. He was tall, broad, sharp. He wore an expensive navy blue suit with a clean white inner shirt. His gray beard was neatly trimmed. His face looked like it belonged on the news. Serious. Controlled. Powerful. Even without anyone saying his name, you could tell this man had money and authority. The air changed. The whole road seemed to hold its breath. The man looked around once. His eyes landed on Michael's workshop. Then he began to walk toward it. One step at a time. Calm like he owned the road. Michael's heart beat faster. His mind raced. Did I do something wrong? Is it because of that customer's car last week? Is it police? But the man didn't look like police. He looked like someone police respected. Who was this powerful man, and why was he walking straight toward Michael's small workshop? Michael stood up quickly, almost dropping the plate of food. He wiped his oily hands on his stained mechanic overall, even though it didn't help. His fingers were still black with engine oil. The man got closer. His eyes focused ahead. Michael noticed something strange. The man's face was tight with pain. Not anger. Pain like a father holding back tears. Michael swallowed hard. Blessing shifted slightly behind him. She was weak, but the sound of the convoy had reached her too. Her head lifted a little. Her eyes tried to focus. The man stepped into the workshop. The dusty ground dirted the bottom of his expensive trousers, but he didn't care. He took one look at Michael. Then his eyes moved past him and locked on Blessing. The man's breath caught. His shoulders jerked like his chest had been punched. For a second he didn't move. He just stared. Then suddenly he rushed forward. Not slowly. Not carefully. He rushed like a man running toward something he had been searching for in a nightmare. Michael stepped back in shock. "Sir," Michael started, but the man didn't answer him. He dropped to his knees right there on the dusty ground. His suit touched dirt. His knee landed in sand. And the powerful man, this man who looked like he could buy half of Abuja, began to cry. Real tears. They dropped from his eyes and fell on the dust like rain. His lips trembled. His hands reached toward Blessing like he was afraid she might vanish if he blinked. "My daughter," the man whispered, his voice breaking. "Blessing." Michael's world stopped. Blessing's eyes widened slightly. She struggled to lift her hand. The man held her carefully, like she was made of glass. Then he pulled her into his arms. hugging her so gently, so desperately, as if he was holding the last piece of his life. Blessing's head rested against his chest. Even in her weakness, she hugged him back faintly, slowly, like her body remembered him before her mind could fully catch up. Michael stood there frozen. His ears rang. His mouth was dry. Did he just say blessing? The man looked up at Michael, tears on his cheeks. His voice was shaking now, but it carried weight. Thank you, he said. Thank you for saving my daughter. Saving his daughter. Michael's heart dropped. His fingers loosened. The plate of food almost fell from his hands. In that moment, Michael realized something that made his knees weak. The dying girl he had rescued and fed every day wasn't just a stranger. She was somebody's child. Somebody powerful. Somebody rich. Somebody who had enough money to send black Bentleys to a poor roadside workshop in Surulere. Michael's lips moved without sound. Then the man said his next words and Michael felt like the ground had shifted under him. I am Chief Adeyemi, the man said softly, like the name didn't even need explanation. And Blessing is my only child. She has been missing. Michael's head spun. Chief Adeyemi. The Chief Adeyemi. The billionaire CEO people talked about on radio. The man whose convoy could shut down a whole street. Michael's vision blurred for a second. He grabbed the edge of the wooden bench to steady himself. Blessing blinked slowly. Her face pale. Her lips dry. Chief Adeyemi wiped his tears with the back of his hand, but the crying did not stop. He kept holding Blessing as if letting go would kill her. Then one of the guards stepped forward, voice low and urgent. Sir, we need to move her now. We must take her to a clinic immediately. Chief Adeyemi nodded sharply. His fatherly fear turned into fast action. He looked back at Michael again. His face was full of gratitude and something else. Something heavy. Like Chief Adeyemi already knew there was more to this story than Michael understood. What would happen next to the poor mechanic who had unknowingly saved a billionaire's only daughter? Please, Chief Adeyemi said, still kneeling, still holding Blessing. Tell me, where did you find her? Michael opened his mouth, but before he could answer, Blessing suddenly coughed. A deep, painful cough. Her body jerked. Her eyes rolled back slightly. Her head fell limp against Chief Adeyemi's arm. Chief Adeyemi's face changed in 1 second. From thankful to terrified. Blessing, he shouted. The guards moved instantly. Michael's plate finally dropped, spilling jollof rice on the dusty floor. Michael rushed forward too, panic rising in his throat. Because the girl he had fought so hard to keep alive was collapsing again. Right inside his poor workshop. Right in front of her billionaire father. And this time, Michael was not sure she would wake up. Blessing's body went limp in Chief Adeyemi's arms. Her eyes shut fully while the convoy guards shouted for space. Move. Give us space. The shout cut through the air like a whip. Michael stumbled backward as the guards rushed in. One of them gently but firmly pushed him aside. Another pulled out a small medical kit from inside the Bentley. Michael's heart hammered in his chest as he watched Chief Adeyemi hold Blessing tighter. His expensive suit now stained with dust and rice. Blessing's body was frighteningly light. Her head lolled to the side. Her lips were turning pale. Blessing, please, Chief Adeyemi whispered, his voice shaking badly now. Daddy is here. Open your eyes, please. But Blessing did not respond. Michael's legs felt weak. He had seen sick people before. He had seen accidents, broken bones, bleeding heads brought to his workshop because hospitals were too far. But this was different. This girl had been fading slowly for days. And Michael had been fighting death with nothing but food, water, and care. And now death was pushing back. Sir, she's very weak, one guard said quickly after checking Blessing's pulse. We must move now. Chief Adeyemi nodded fast. Take her now. The men lifted Blessing carefully and carried her toward the car. Chief Adeyemi followed closely, his eyes never leaving her face. Michael stood there helpless. His hands empty. His heart screamed to go with them, but his legs refused to move. He had fed her every day. Sat with her every night. Listened to her broken breathing. Now she was being taken away and he didn't even know if he would ever see her again. Chief Adeyemi stopped suddenly and turned. His sharp eyes found Michael. You, he said firmly. Michael flinched. Come with us, Chief Adeyemi said. You know her condition better than anyone. Michael's breath caught. Before he could even think, a guard grabbed his arm. Not rough but urgent. And pulled him toward the Bentley. Michael looked back at his workshop. The old tools. The broken cars. The wooden bench. Everything he owned in this world. Then the Bentley door slammed shut and the convoy sped off. The clinic was private, quiet, and white. Too clean. Too calm. Michael felt dirty just standing there in his stained blue mechanic uniform. Doctors moved fast. Machines beeped. Blessing was taken into a room Michael wasn't allowed to enter. Chief Adeyemi stood outside pacing. He was no longer the calm billionaire from the roadside. He was just a father, walking back and forth, rubbing his hands together, whispering prayers under his breath. Michael sat on a metal chair, his back bent, his head lowered. He kept replaying the moment he found Blessing. It had been late evening days ago. Rain had just stopped. Michael was closing his workshop when he heard a soft sound behind the stacked tires. A weak cry. At first he thought it was a cat, but something about it made him look again. That was when he saw her. Blessing. Collapsed near the roadside. Clothes torn. Skin dirty. Eyes barely open. She looked like someone who had walked too far and finally fallen. Michael had hesitated. Not because he didn't care, but because Ikordu was not kind. Helping strangers could bring trouble. Police. Kidnappers. False accusations. But then she had whispered one word. Water. And Michael knew he could not walk away. A door opened suddenly. Michael jumped. Chief Adeyemi stopped pacing. A doctor stepped out, removing his gloves. How is she? Chief Adeyemi asked quickly. Would Blessing survive, or had Michael's efforts been in vain? The doctor sighed. She's stable for now. Very dehydrated. Very weak. She has been without proper care for a long time. But she's strong. Chief Adeyemi closed his eyes in relief. Tears slipped out again. Thank God, he whispered. Michael felt his chest loosen slightly. She will need rest, the doctor continued. We will observe her for a few more hours. Then she can be discharged. Chief Adeyemi nodded. Anything. Whatever she needs. Then the doctor turned to Michael. And you, he said calmly. You did well. If she had stayed one more day without food and care, she might not have made it. Michael swallowed hard. He didn't know whether to feel proud or scared. 3 hours later, Blessing lay on a hospital bed. Her face looked cleaner now. Softer. Her breathing was steady. Chief Adeyemi sat beside her, holding her hand. Michael stood near the door, unsure if he belonged there. Blessing's eyes slowly opened. She blinked. Then she saw her father. Daddy, she whispered. Chief Adeyemi leaned forward instantly. I'm here. I'm here. Her eyes moved slowly until they found Michael. A weak smile touched her lips. Michael's heart skipped. Thank you, she whispered faintly. Michael nodded, unable to speak. That night, Chief Adeyemi took Blessing home. But Michael did not sleep. He lay on his thin mattress, staring at the ceiling of his small room behind the workshop. His mind was loud. Chief Adeyemi. Billionaire. Missing daughter. Convoy. Clinic. None of it felt real. He wondered if trouble would come next. He wondered if he would be questioned or accused or blamed. Kindness always came with a price in Ikordu. The next morning, Michael was under a car tightening a bolt when the sound returned. Engines. Smooth, heavy, powerful. He froze again. The convoy came back. Black Bentleys. Same workshop. Same dust. This time people gathered. Neighbors whispered. Hawkers pointed. Michael wiped his hands and stood up slowly. Chief Adeyemi stepped out again. But this time Blessing was with him. She wore a simple but elegant dress. Her hair was neatly packed. Her face was still pale but alive. She walked carefully straight toward Michael. Before Michael could speak, Blessing knelt right there on the dusty ground. Michael panicked. No, please stand up. But she bowed her head. Thank you, she said clearly. You saved my life. People gasped. Michael's eyes widened. Chief Adeyemi stepped forward. My daughter has thanked you, he said. Now it is my turn. He turned to the crowd. This man fed my child every day when she could not help herself. Michael's chest tightened. Chief Adeyemi raised his voice. I promise you all, he said. I will build the biggest mechanic workshop in Port Harcourt for Michael. The crowd erupted. Michael's knees shook. His world spun. And as he tried to understand how his life had changed in one moment, Chief Adeyemi added something else quietly that made Michael's heart drop again. But first, Chief Adeyemi said, looking at Michael closely. You must tell me everything that happened to Blessing from the day you found her. Chief Adeyemi's eyes hardened with seriousness. The workshop went quiet. Too quiet. The crowd that had gathered moments ago slowly stepped back, as if they sensed something serious was about to happen. The guards formed a loose circle. Not threatening but alert. Michael felt every eye on him. Chief Adeyemi's gaze was steady now, no longer full of tears. This was the look of a man used to truth, power, and consequences. Speak, Chief Adeyemi said gently but firmly. Take your time. Michael swallowed. His hands were still shaking. I found her at night, he began slowly. Near the roadside. Behind those tires. He pointed. Blessing listened quietly, sitting beside her father on a chair a guard had brought. Her hands were folded on her lap. Her eyes stayed on Michael, soft but serious. She was alone, Michael continued. Very weak. She asked for water. I wanted to take her to a hospital but she could not stand. I don't have a car. So I brought her inside. Chief Adeyemi nodded. I fed her, Michael said. Small. Rice, water, soup when I could afford it. Some days she could not eat. Some days she cried in her sleep. Blessing's eyes lowered. Michael's voice cracked. She kept saying sorry. Like she was afraid of being a burden. Blessing bit her lip. Chief Adeyemi's jaw tightened. She told me she escaped, Michael added. She said men held her. She did not know where she was anymore. At those words, Chief Adeyemi stood up sharply. The guard stiffened. Blessing flinched slightly. Men? Chief Adeyemi asked, his voice suddenly cold. What men? What dark truth was Michael about to reveal about Blessing's disappearance? Michael hesitated. I don't know them, sir. She did not say their names. Only that they left her near the road when she became too weak. Chief Adeyemi closed his eyes for a second. When he opened them again they burned. He turned to his head of security. We will talk later. The guard nodded. Blessing reached out and touched her father's arm. Daddy, please, she whispered. I'm safe now. Chief Adeyemi looked down at her and the fire in his eyes softened. 3 months later, the dusty roadside workshop was gone. In its place stood something Port Harcourt had never seen before. A massive modern mechanic complex. Bright lights. Clean floors. New machines. Multiple bays. Glass offices. A signboard so big people stopped to take pictures even without reading it. Michael stood at the center of it all, wearing a clean blue overall. Staring like a man inside a dream. Hundreds of engineers moved around, working calmly. Cars lined up. Luxury cars. Company cars. Government cars. And every single person there called him Oga Michael. Michael had tried to refuse at first, but Chief Adeyemi did not argue. This is not payment, Chief Adeyemi had said. This is justice. Within a year, Michael's life changed faster than his mind could catch up. He became known. Respected. Rich. He bought a mansion in Lekki. Bought an SUV. Employed over 100 engineers. And yet, every time he saw Blessing, something in his chest shifted. Blessing came often. At first just to say thank you again. Later to sit and talk. She asked questions about engines. About Michael's childhood. About how he learned to survive alone. Michael tried to keep distance. She was a billionaire's daughter. He was a mechanic who once ate only bread and tea. But life kept pushing them together. Michael's company handled the maintenance of all Chief Adeyemi's cars and all his company vehicles. Meetings became conversations. Conversations became laughter. Laughter became silence that felt heavy with meaning. One evening, as the sun dropped behind the building, Blessing stood beside Michael, watching workers close for the day. You gave me a second life, she said softly. Before you fed me, I had given up. Michael looked away. I only did what anyone should do. She smiled sadly. Not everyone does. Their hands brushed. Neither pulled away. Chief Adeyemi watched everything. He said nothing until one night he called Michael to his office. The room was quiet. Large. Powerful. Do you love my daughter? Chief Adeyemi asked without warning. Michael's heart almost stopped. I respect her, sir. That was not my question. Michael took a deep breath. Yes, he said. Ido. Chief Adeyemi studied him for a long time. Then he nodded. If you hurt her, he said calmly, you will answer to me. Michael bowed his head. I understand. Months later, Port Harcourt talked about one wedding. The day Chief Adeyemi walked his daughter down the aisle. The day he placed Blessing's hand into Michael's. The day cameras flashed and the city whispered. But just as the vows were about to begin, a man stepped forward from the crowd. Shouting. Pointing. This marriage should not happen, the man yelled. That mechanic is hiding something. The hall exploded into noise. Michael's heart dropped. Blessing turned to him, confused. Chief Adeyemi stood still. And the man raised his hand, holding a document. This paper, he said loudly, will destroy everything you think you know about Michael. The wedding hall fell into chaos. Gasps ripped through the air. People stood up from their seats. Phones came out. Whispers spread like fire in dry grass. Michael felt the blood drain from his face. Blessing turned fully toward him, her eyes wide with confusion and fear. "What is he talking about?" she whispered. Michael could not answer. Because the man standing there, Michael knew him. Not by name but by memory. A dark, painful memory he had buried so deep he prayed it would never return. Chief Adeyemi raised his hands slowly. The room quieted. Not because people wanted silence but because they feared it. "Who are you?" Chief Adeyemi asked calmly. The man stepped forward. He was in his late 40s, poorly dressed compared to the guests, but his eyes were sharp and bold. "My name is Emeka," the man said, "and I know Michael very well." Michael's throat tightened. Emeka lifted the document higher. "This man you are about to give your daughter to," Emeka continued, pointing at Michael, "was once arrested in this city." A loud gasp echoed. Blessing shook her head. "That's not true." Emeka smiled thinly. "Is it?" All eyes turned to Michael. His legs felt like stone. Chief Adeyemi's face hardened. "Michael," he said quietly, "look at me." Michael forced his eyes up. "Tell me," Chief Adeyemi said, "is there any truth in what this man is saying?" What shameful secret from Michael's past was about to destroy his wedding day? The hall felt like it was shrinking. Michael opened his mouth, closed it, then finally spoke. "Yes," he said. The single word hit the room like a bomb. Blessing staggered back a step. "What?" she breathed. "I was arrested once," Michael said, his voice shaking but clear. "Years ago." The hall erupted again. "No. No way. Is that true? A criminal?" Blessing's eyes filled with tears. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked, her voice breaking. Michael turned to her fully. "Because I was ashamed," he said softly. "And because the truth is not what people think." Emeka laughed loudly. "Listen to him," he mocked. "Always the innocent one." Chief Adeyemi raised his hand again. "Explain," he ordered. Michael took a deep breath. His mind traveled back to a time he had tried to forget. Years ago, before the workshop, before the dust, before Blessing, Michael had been younger. Hungry. Desperate. He worked as an assistant in another mechanic yard. One night, armed robbers broke into the place. Cars were stolen. Parts disappeared. Police arrived. Michael was there. He was poor. He had no connections. No lawyer. No voice. "They said I helped them," Michael said, his eyes wet. "But I didn't. I was sleeping in the workshop that night because I had nowhere else to go." Emeka interrupted loudly. "Lies." Michael ignored him. "I spent 3 weeks in a cell," Michael continued. 3 weeks of hell. Until the real thieves were caught trying to sell the stolen cars. My name was cleared." He looked at Blessing. "I was innocent." Blessing's tears rolled freely now. Emeka waved the document again. "This paper says he was arrested," he shouted. "That's enough." Chief Adeyemi stepped forward slowly. "Give me that paper." Emeka hesitated. A guard took it from him. Chief Adeyemi read it carefully. Then he looked up. "This document shows an arrest," Chief Adeyemi said. "It also shows a release. Case dismissed." Emeka's smile faded slightly. But Chief Adeyemi continued. "Why are you here now?" Emeka's face twisted with anger. "Because that workshop," he snapped, "used to belong to my brother." The crowd murmured. "He lost it," Emeka went on. "After Michael became famous, clients left. Business died." Michael frowned. "That's not true." "I didn't." "You ruined him," Emeka shouted. Chief Adeyemi's eyes narrowed. "So this is not about justice," he said. "This is about envy." Emeka stepped back. Blessing wiped her tears and walked toward Michael. Her hands trembled as she held his face. "You saved me," she said softly. "I know who you are." Michael broke. Tears ran freely down his face. But just as relief started to enter the room, another voice spoke. "Cold. Controlled. This wedding is still not safe." Everyone turned. A woman stepped forward. Elegant. Well-dressed. Unknown. "I am Inspector Nkechi," she said. "And there is one more thing you all need to know." Chief Adeyemi's heart sank. "What now?" he asked. The inspector looked directly at Michael. "The men who kidnapped Blessing are still at large." Silence fell like death. And she added slowly, "We believe someone here today helped them." Blessing's hand slipped from Michael's face. The inspector raised her finger and pointed straight at Michael. The hall froze in horror. Blessing stepped away from him in shock. Chief Adeyemi's eyes darkened. Michael's mouth opened, but Inspector Nkechi raised her palm. "Wait," she said firmly. "Let me finish." The room held its breath. "When Blessing was kidnapped," Inspector Nkechi began, "we tracked the group responsible. They were not amateurs. They had done this before." Blessing shivered. "They moved her from place to place," the inspector continued. "They demanded ransom. But something went wrong." The hall was silent again. "Blessing became very sick," Inspector Nkechi said. "She stopped eating. She stopped responding." The men panicked. Blessing closed her eyes. Memories flooding back. Dark rooms. Rough hands. Voices arguing. "They discussed killing her," the inspector said quietly. "They believed she was no longer useful." A gasp rippled through the crowd. Blessing's knees weakened, but Chief Adeyemi quickly moved behind her, steadying her shoulders. Inspector Nkechi took a breath. But one man argued with them. Michael's head snapped up. "One man," Chief Adeyemi repeated. "Yes," the inspector said. "A poor man. Someone they had known before. Someone who once worked in the same mechanic yard where they hid stolen vehicles years ago." Murmurs spread. Inspector Nkechi's eyes locked onto Michael. Not accusing now but searching. "That man," she said, "was known among criminals as the stubborn one. The one who refused dirty money. The one who argued when things were wrong." Michael's heart thundered. "They said he once stood up to them," the inspector continued. "That argument led to his false arrest." Emeka's face began to pale. "They remembered him," Inspector Nkechi said. "And when Blessing became too weak, they remembered what that man had said years ago." She paused. "He said, 'Even a poor life is still a life.'" The room gasped. Blessing's eyes filled with tears. "So instead of killing her," the inspector finished, "they abandoned her near the roadside." Chief Adeyemi's hand flew to his mouth. Blessing covered her lips, sobbing. Inspector Nkechi turned fully to Michael. "That man was you," she said clearly. "Your character saved her twice." Silence exploded into sound. People cried openly. Some clapped. Some whispered prayers. Blessing broke free from her father and ran into Michael's arms. "I knew it," she cried. "I knew you were not lying." Michael held her tightly, shaking. His tears soaked into her veil. "I was scared," he whispered. "I didn't want my past to destroy your future." Blessing pulled back and looked at him. "My life began again because of you," she said. "How could your past frighten me?" Chief Adeyemi stepped forward. His eyes were wet. For a long moment he said nothing. Then he did something that shocked everyone. He bowed his head slightly toward Michael. "Forgive me," Chief Adeyemi said, "for doubting the man who fed my daughter when I could not find her." Michael froze. "No, sir." Chief Adeyemi raised his hand. "You are not just marrying my daughter," he said. "You are joining my family." Emeka tried to step back quietly, but Inspector Nkechi turned sharply. "Stop right there." Emeka's voice cracked. "I only wanted the truth." Inspector Nkechi's eyes were cold. "You wanted revenge." She nodded to security. Emeka was seized immediately. "You will answer for false accusation and attempted sabotage," she said calmly. Emeka screamed as he was dragged away. His words breaking apart in the noise. The hall slowly settled. The priest cleared his throat, his voice shaking with emotion. "Shall we continue?" Blessing laughed through tears. "Yes, please." The wedding resumed. But something had changed. This time the joy was deeper, stronger. When Chief Adeyemi walked Blessing down the aisle again, his steps were steady with pride. At the altar, he placed Blessing's hand into Michael's. "You gave her food when she was dying," Chief Adeyemi whispered. "Now give her a lifetime of love." Michael nodded, tears blurring his vision. "I will," he promised. They exchanged vows. Simple words. Honest words. When they were pronounced husband and wife, the hall erupted in cheers louder than any music. Life after the wedding did not slow down. If anything, it grew fuller. Michael's workshop expanded again. Now known across Port Harcourt and beyond. Young engineers came from different states, hoping to learn from the man whose kindness became legend. But Michael never changed. Every morning he still arrived early. Still wore overalls. Still spoke gently to apprentices. Blessing joined him often. Not as a billionaire's daughter, but as his wife. One day she found the old wooden bench stored behind the workshop. "This is where I sat," she said quietly. Michael nodded. "And this is where I learned who I really was," he replied. Together they started something new. Every Friday, food was prepared and sent out to roadside workers. To homeless shelters. to clinics. Blessing insisted on going along. She served plates with her own hands. When people thanked her, she smiled and said, "Someone once fed me when I could not stand." One evening, as they watched the sun set over the workshop, Blessing leaned against Michael. "Do you know what truly saved me?" she asked softly. Michael thought for a moment. "Food." She shook her head. "Not just food," she said. "Kindness that refused to stop." Michael looked around. The machines. The workers. The life that grew from a single choice. He remembered the weak girl leaning against a wooden pillar. The spoon shaking in his hand. The fear. The hope. Sometimes the world is not saved by power. Sometimes it is saved by a man who keeps feeding even when no one is watching. We've come to the end of today's story. I hope it touched your heart. Thanks for watching and staying with us till the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. See you in the next one. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from?